Tickets are on sale now at bostonwrestling.com for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s WrestleFest, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass. Wrestling fans, it's time to rock. WWE legend Marty Jannetty of the Rockers returns for 3 big nights, Wednesday, September the 1st through Friday, September the 3rd. Marty will be taping historical Wrestling Insider episodes, live specials, Insider autograph signings, support wrestling superstars, pre-order autographed 8x10s now over at bostonwrestling.com. This September, get your sunglasses ready. It's time to party with Marty.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to the wrap-up to what has been a monster weekend here in the world of professional wrestling. On Wrestling Insider's Stern But Fair, I am Dan Marati, along with your host with the most, the first Boston Wrestling MWF Heavyweight Champion, now part of the board of directors, Mr. Tiger Mulligan. We had AEW Rampage set Chicago on fire. We had well over 40,000 people at SummerSlam last night. And earlier tonight, we're taping this before it's taken place. We're going to guess that NXT TakeOver happened. So, Tiger, a pleasure to have you with us. As the Godfather used to say, to paraphrase him, as I entered the studio after 15 hours yesterday, gimping ain't easy.
Well, you know what? Gimping ain't easy. Pimping ain't easy. Light one up for your pimp daddy or whatever the heck he used to say.
I'd prefer the pimping over the gimping, but you know,
I tell you that.
Those are the straws that I drew.
Well, you know what? If anybody can handle it, and I believe you can handle it.
It was a rough day at the office, let me tell you. That was well, I don't even know where you want to begin, so I pass the baton to you. And
you know
like
what?
we said, another big week of topics to discuss.
Yeah, you know, I don't even know where to start because it has been a monstrous week, and it really was the tail end of the week that last night was SummerSlam. I'm sure, and like you said, NXT's going on tonight. I'm not really looking forward to that because it just doesn't intrigue me too much. No. But Rampage was good. I thought SmackDown was good. Thought Dynamite was good. Raw, but it was definitely a hell of a week with wrestling. And if we're gonna jump right into it, CM Punk is back, baby, and he's back with a vengeance. Well,
and all you can say is if you are affiliated with WWE or have an interest in that company, what a waste. What a waste of 7 years. What a waste of having that moment take place on another company's television show and you have so many resources at your disposal. What a waste that you have a product that man had zero interest in being part in.
Yeah, the future to me is bright for AEW just based on that alone. I'm not going to lie. I am a CM Punk fan. When I was on the indies with him, I was not a fan of his just by the nature of how he carried himself in some locker rooms. However, I became a fan of his during his WWE run. And for the first time in a long time, I'm not going to lie, and call me a mark, but I'm a mark for the business. I got goosebumps when he came out and I saw the reaction to him walking out on stage. And I have not had goosebumps watching any type of wrestling in a very, very long time.
Some actual goosebumps.
It was goosebumps. I was glad to see that. To me, something like this is such a positive for the business, and it's a shot in the arm for the business. It's what the business needs right now. I'm glad that AEW was able to come to terms and that Punk can come back to doing what he loves. And it's crazy just listening to him talk in his quick promo that he had. He didn't want to leave wrestling, folks. He just needed to leave the WWE, and I think that's what people are missing. And the haters out there that are saying that his personal decisions affected their life, and they were all mad that he left and quit and walked out. Guess what? If you're at a job that you absolutely hate, and I could totally sympathize with this because a few years back I was at a job where I hated my boss, and without having another job lined up, I walked away from it. So I know what he was going through in a sense, And good for him. I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing now. I'm glad that he's back, and I'm glad that it gave a shot to the arm of professional wrestling.
Well, you know what? Nice to be in that position, to have everybody want you. I don't think there's a major league professional wrestling organization in the world that wouldn't want to have had him.
Right.
AEW, it seemed like there was a little friction at first, where it was almost kind of a tease that he was going to be joining them, and he didn't quite feel that way. But that was a couple of years back. He had, from the media session they had after the fact, said he had great respect for them and how they handled the passing of Luke Harper, Brody Lee a couple of months ago, which helped the cause. So sometimes, and maybe we should send this clip to our friend up in Maine, but being a good person with character and integrity and trying to do the right thing helps you in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it certainly helped AEW land the biggest prize in the free agent market right now.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed I didn't get my free ice cream bar.
Well, you would have had to have been in Chicago for that.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's I chuckled at it when he said that, and it's like, you know what? That's his little jab at WWE, because you know what? They could have made millions off of WWE left millions, and when I say millions, I truly mean millions on the table when they ended up just letting them walk away and not trying to mend those fences in any way, shape, or form.
Well, that's not necessarily true. They did make attempts to try and bring him back. He just didn't want to be there. And I mean, at the end of the day, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, in the sense of things, though, did they truly try to bring him back? A text message, and this is all, third party, but a text message from the owner of the company saying, "Hey, pal, you ready to come back to work?" I don't think that's a true, showing of that you truly want somebody to come back and the change and things like that a change that WWE desperately needs.
I believe he said when he did that Cabana podcast that Vince had called him before they decided to release him and stop paying him. So the money was still green for those 6 months when he went home.
Yeah.
But neither you or I were there to know the complete story and both sides.
We'll never get that complete story in both versions of it. That's just the way it goes, and that's the world we live in. But again, not to harp on the past.
I will say this,
future
though,
looks bright.
and I have said this before. There were friends of mine that work within the office. They were absolutely thrilled to see him go. He was very difficult for them to deal with on their end of things.
I'm sure.
So you know what? Again, sometimes it's just not meant to be. Just because someone is hired for a job doesn't mean they're necessarily meant to be there until the day they retire or the day they die. So I agree. Certain things about being there. They didn't like certain things about him. So sometimes the best thing is to go in different directions. It's just, you think after 7 years, if I'm WWE at least, where I lack so much star power, I would have tried to have been quote unquote creative and come up with circumstances that could have made it an experience he would have enjoyed while making a very healthy income. So I think they missed the boat as far as that goes. I don't know what attempts they made to try and bring the man back. I certainly expected at least a WrestleMania match once he started to co-host that show on FS1 that didn't last all that long. What was it called? WWE Backstage?
Yeah.
I think once you saw him back within the realm of something WWE related, it would at least open the door to a conversation, but went nowhere apparently.
Yeah, no, I don't think it did. And who knows? Maybe the conflict isn't between Punk and Vince. Maybe it's between, say, Punk and Triple H or, whoever else. I know Mark Carrano's not there anymore, but maybe it was between him and Mark Carrano. Maybe those are things that we'll probably never know, and that, is it really any of our business? Probably not. But like I said, there's a nice new bright light coming out of this, I believe, and does it bring back some more eyes? I think so. Even just leading up to it, you just saw the cross branding of it being mentioned on NFL shows and the other MMA shows that he's been doing. So it's I think it's going to be good all around. It's going to bring some extra eyeballs to the product, which I hope is a good thing in the long run.
So the obvious question is, where wrestling fans are always hungry for more. Not to be confused with the great spread we had from our friends at Red Rose here in Melrose last night at redrosemma.com, I should say. I'm still full, and that's a nice thing with leftovers in the fridge for my lunch today. But fans are hungry for more. I ask you this. They have already moved on from poor CM Punk after just a matter of a couple of days, and they want to know who's next.
Who's next? Well, it looks like
we're not talking Goldberg.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll get into that maybe after the break. But you know what? It looks like they've already secured Daniel Bryan, and it looks like that's going to be next for them. And I'm not sure how long his non-compete clause is going on, but I'm hearing rumblings that Bray Wyatt is headed there. So who knows? I mean, it's tough because you have such a dynamic with these three guys. How do you top it? But I'm sure they'll try to figure something out.
Well, if it was me, I would have more interest in Wyatt than Bryan if I could only have one of the two.
Yeah, but I think you still got to wait like a month or so. I don't know when his non-compete.
That would be right around Halloween. So you're not talking about. There's no rush to expect to see him on their program.
No. There's no rush. But at the same time, you don't want to rush because you don't want to pop your cherry too quick. I mean, you got Punk. Let that settle in a little bit, and then even with Daniel Bryan, I know they try. I believe, and as I stutter upon my words, I believe that they're bringing him back or bringing him in for that show they have in New York at Arthur Ashe Stadium. But I could be wrong. But I would hold off. I mean, let people cram for it a little bit. Let Punk settle in. Let him get that match under his belt with Darby Allin and kind of get off to a start, and then you bring something else in. That's what I would do.
That's exactly how I would lay it out. Why rush it? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not a wrestling figure league. It's not a video game league. You know what?
Yeah.
You've given the fans what they've waited 7 years for. Let them enjoy that for a little bit. Then, once it's not at a peak fever anymore, then you bring in Daniel Bryan. You have events in the biggest market in the world back-to-back weeks. That's the perfect time to debut someone like Daniel Bryan. So I think that would be great. I think if you look at their calendar, I believe their November pay-per-view is the second Saturday in November. That's right after Bray Wyatt becomes a free agent around Halloween time. So, again, you're looking at time-wise, you could line up something pretty cool. Imagine if AEW said, you know what? The Dark Order is without a doubt one of the worst, most boring, uninteresting factions in the history of professional wrestling. What if we put together a deal to bring in, Wyatt Strowman and Eric Rowan together to feud with some of these guys? I think it would expose the size of the majority of the roster, but I think it would draw a heck of a lot of interest for people to feud with Punk and Bryan and Sting and Christian and,
Yeah, I mean, you know what, though? I don't know if I would – I don't know if that's what you were going for.
You wouldn't go with an elite Wyatt family.
No, I would.
Oh, you would? Okay.
But I would. I like the idea. I'm just – and I know we've mentioned it before. I'm just concerned that the cash flow. I know that they need to have a depth roster for the two shows they have, and I know they're getting paid pretty well by the networks to have these two shows. But they're not doing anything but these two shows, as far as I know. So all of that revenue is coming just basically off the TV. And I don't know about, the ticket sales and things like that for the venues and how they're doing with those. I mean, obviously Chicago is sold out, but, it's I just hope they don't stretch themselves too thin when it comes to cash flow because they can get themselves in hot water very, very quick.
My biggest concern is not them signing marquee free agents, but just what their travel budget must be each week when they fly in. Many of these independent guys to have 15 and 16 match YouTube shows.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I was thinking the same thing the other day. Just the fact that so they have a 2-day gap and they don't do anything on Thursday. So do they keep guys around for the 3 days?
Yes.
Or fly them or have them drive from one venue to the other, have a day off, and then go to work again the next day. Like, I don't know. To me, it would make more sense to throw a house show in somewhere and try to get more revenue on a Thursday night as opposed to just having off and just losing money by, and are they paying guys hotels or are they making the guys pay hotel? You know what I mean? I don't know what goes into it, but to me, it seems like there could be a potential for them to lose a lot of money.
Well, you know what? I don't necessarily think that idea about a small house show is a bad idea. But again, when you're talking about there's got to be 60, 70 people around.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about talents for those shows. I mean, how many how many can you fit on a house show?
Yeah.
You know
I mean, I was looking at, but that's the thing though, is I know that they want their depth to be there, and they need to have guys in the pipeline to help build stars for down the road, not right tomorrow, but for, years to come. But there's got to be a different way to do it. I don't know if that is, to work with certain independents. I don't know. I don't know how the indie scene is looking right now. I only see some of the bigger indie shows starting to pop up now and starting to come around in September. So there's not much going on. There's some stuff, unless I'm just not abreast to it.
What?
But abreast, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I just don't want to see them get stretched too thin. And at the same time, even this YouTube show that they run, let's maybe get a little stern on it. Is it really necessary? Like, do you need to bring in all these guys to have these matches that nobody sees?
Nobody
and it's a lot it's a lot of matches too. I was looking at the results the other day. It was like 15 matches.
You're not talking about an hour show with 4 matches and a promo or 2.
It's
talking
weird.
about like WrestleMania 4 all over again, twice a week on YouTube.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
And I don't know. It's not like Tony Khan and I ever, sat down at an Applebee's and discussed this, but
would it be an Applebee's that you sit down with them?
Well, we'd have to see if the waiter had shorts on in the middle of the winter, but that's a different story for a different time. And maybe give us a Hot Wheels on top of it to try and get a better tip.
Oh man!
But I'd say I'm gonna guess they're trying to stockpile footage for people they see that they want to use in the future, so they have quote unquote footage of them while they're young, which is something that WWE doesn't have sometimes when they want to make introductory montage videos. And B, I imagine they're going to want to start a streaming service at some point. So why not have as much
man, but that's got to be down the road.
I certainly would hope so, but unless they started awfully cheap.
Yeah.
Or they included they only have 4 pay-per-views. So if I was AEW, I'd stick with the traditional pay-per-view platform. I think that's something that's going to work for them where they only have 4 per year. My only suggestion would be, again, keep them on the Saturdays. I hate this. I love Saturday night pay-per-views, even though SummerSlam almost killed my back last night. I hate the Sunday night ones.
Yeah, but what is it about Saturday that you like so much? I think I've just come so accustomed to a Sunday. I wasn't a fan of last night's pay-per-view. Not just the day of it.
People are not coming from work, and they're not for the most part, they're not coming from work, and they're not getting ready to get up for work the next morning.
Is that why they did SummerSlam on Saturday yesterday?
I still have no idea why they did that.
Did they have a UFC going on the same last night as well in Vegas?
Yes, and the boxing. So it was a busy, busy night in Las Vegas.
So I wonder if that's why they did it, so that way they wouldn't not sell tickets because everybody was going to be in town for Saturday. Everybody would go home Sunday as opposed to going to the pay-per-view, so that's probably why they did it, I would assume. I don't know.
I mean, they had more than those 2 other shows combined, so I don't know if that was the major concern. I think we were trying to figure it out during the live stream last night, so if I have it incorrect, don't shoot me. But I think the UFC event was at their version of the Performance Center, so I don't even think that was open to fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the boxing fight was at T-Mobile, where UFC holds its bigger pay-per-views, which is a very nice arena.
Yeah. I'm surprised that UFC did it that way. So I guess it wasn't a big UFC fight then,
it was one of their smaller
shows. Okay. So that's probably why. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying I like the idea of it, and I can understand the concept of it, but maybe I'm just so accustomed to that Sunday night pay-per-view that's the night I like to watch them. But if it means a change, it means a change. It's not a big deal for me.
I wish it would be all of them.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I highly doubt it's going to be that way with WWE, but I'm sure AEW is going to do it that way, no? They have been, haven't they?
Well, no. After the success they've had on Sunday pay-per-views, I think it's going to be 2 of them are going to be Sundays and 2 of them are going to be Saturdays. And I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think they should stick to
It should be
night.
consistent. Yeah, it should
Yeah.
be consistent. I agree.
That's why one thing I've always, even though I am not by any means a giant UFC fan, I respect it, and
Sure.
it'll hold my interest. I've enjoyed the live ones I've been to. I like the fact that they're on Saturday night because to me, as a, I don't know if it's because it's a man thing, but I think Saturday night it's a more fun night to have it. It's easier for people to get together and have a good time. If they want to have a few adult spirits during the duration of the event, you don't have to worry if it's Sunday night. You're not going to want to have more than maybe a beer or two if you got to get up for work on Monday morning, or if it's a Friday night you got to rush from work and you might not feel like going. Saturday to me is the perfect day for an event like that. Maybe because here in Boston, it was kind of embedded in me because when we had our once a month house show at the Boston Garden, almost outside of very rare exceptions, usually not even once a year, they were always Saturday nights.
Yeah.
So to me, Saturday night was always the night. I don't
know. So, yeah, I mean, I guess to me, I guess maybe in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really make a huge difference. I can see where you're coming from, though. I don't know. To me, I guess, though, like Saturday night or even Friday night is kind of like, I don't know, in some people's aspects, date night or go out night, party night. So would you try to rush home to watch a pay-per-view? I'm not sure.
Well, I guess, you know what? Maybe from that point of view, it depends on how hot or cold your product is. Right now, I can't see a lot of people in that key demographic range wanting to skip going out on Friday or Saturday night to, watch Clash of Champions.
I used to love Clash of Champions. I don't know. I was a big fan.
Clash of the Champions, I think you were a fan of.
Yes,
I'm talking about the modern day.
No.
The WWE pay-per-view version.
No. I can deal without a bunch of WWE pay-per-views for a long time now, and I'm very disappointed that I watch them.
I was pleasantly surprised that they kind of mixed up the pay-per-views yet again this year, and instead of Clash of the Champions in September, we get Extreme Rules.
But here's the thing. Like
in September, on Sunday, September the 26th.
You know what, though? These types of pay-per-views, I think, are just garbage because so Extreme Rules, where now everybody's going to have some kind of gimmick match, and it just takes away from that style of match. There's no blow-off, so everything just got blown off last night. We're going to supposedly, in the grand scheme of things, start new storylines you would figure on, say, Monday or Friday with Raw and SmackDown. You're going to try to build it for 3 weeks to have a gimmick match. It just, I don't know. It's just too much too soon. I think WWE.
But they're going to be extreme.
It's stupid.
It's going to be extreme.
Yeah, so we're going to have a tables match. I guess that would be more TLC. So there's going to be a bunch of matches with guys beating each other with kendo sticks more than anything.
Yeah,
I don't know.
For whatever reason, those kendo sticks always find a way into the ring for some reason. I
you would figure they'd stop putting them there.
I never saw a ring built with kendo sticks until it became a WWE thing a few years ago.
Or kendo sticks or tables, you look under there. Geez, when I was growing up, they used to just have cables and water bottles under there. Now all of a sudden they got tables, ladders, and chairs and kendo sticks. But I don't know. Maybe a different podcast for another time.
Yeah, I think if they kept it to maybe one or two gimmick matches on top, it would be a little easier for me to sit through. But you know what? They to their credit, they try and differentiate a little bit. I just think you get to the point where, okay, it's Elimination Chamber time. Whether there's an interest in having an Elimination Chamber match or not, here it is. Okay, it's Hell in the Cell time. Whether there's an interest or a feud that's built up to the point where it should be climaxing in the cell, here's the pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. For me, I'm not a big fan of the Hell in the Cell. I think that should be something, like you said, it should be the blow-off, where it's actually means something. The Elimination Chamber, I'm a fan of. I don't know really why I'm a fan of it. I just think because it's a different style match, and you could do so many certain different things with it. I don't like where they place it in the year right before WrestleMania. I was never a fan of that. Maybe put it after WrestleMania or even in between SummerSlam and Survivor Series, something along those lines.
You don't like the qualification aspect of it?
No, not really.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then why have the match? Would you rather see the title on the line in it?
Yeah, I think the title should be on the line, or maybe that should be like one of the Survivor Series matches, and because it's a it's a survival mode at that point in time.
Sure is, and that's where it was introduced. Was at Survivor Series 2002 at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Yeah,
I was at that show.
Were you?
I was at that show, and then the next night I worked Bridgeport. I can't remember
the TV taping.
Connecticut. That's where Raw was the next day. And that's where my famous story of Bubba Ray Dudley and me just no longer having an intrigue in Bubba Ray Dudley anymore. We'll just leave it at that.
Why is that?
he's just one of those guys that likes to muscle the young boys around, I guess, and be a dick to people.
You know what? That's funny. Last night during the live stream, people, they were asking various questions and. They were talking about who's the nicest you ever met, who was the least favorite. And I really don't know Bubba Ray Dudley, but he made one of the worst impressions on me I had ever seen when I was helping TNA promote the, which one was it now? Slammiversary 2013 they had in Boston, and they had a Fanfest the day before. And I'm not going to say the guy's name, but people would know him. Had asked him, they needed him to do a media interview to help, promote ticket sales so people would actually pay to go. And he looked at me and he goes, "Am I here to wrestle or do interviews? I'm going to my bedroom," and walked off.
Oh,
and I was so unimpressed by that.
Yeah.
As opposed to let me do it for 5 or 10 minutes and try and help the company get over, which is the reason why the state that it's in right now. But whatever, that's him.
That's somebody that's got a big head and think they're a superstar. And above the business at that point in time, and I don't think anybody's above the business.
Certainly not in the promotion he was in at that point in time.
Hell no. But before we take a break, let's talk about Chris Jericho.
What about him?
I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised that he put over MJF the way he did on Dynamite in their blow off. If it was the blow off at that point in time, and I'm happy that he did it. I think he's a pro. And only Chris Jericho can get a theme music over so much to where he can come out and have the crowd sing it to him.
But I thought they were still having their match on the pay-per-view, no?
Oh, that I don't know. I haven't been following it that close. I thought it was the end of it because he had to go through all those labors to get to that match with MJF. Why would they have another one?
My brain is so frazzled. I believe there was some kind of a stipulation. He couldn't use the elbow or whatever.
Yeah, he couldn't use his finish.
He
couldn't use his finish.
But I was under the presumption they were still working each other next week in Chicago.
And maybe they are. I don't know because I don't have the card up in front of me. Maybe I should probably do that. But again, just to touch upon Chris Jericho a little bit, I was actually very surprised in how he put him over. Very, very clean in the ring. I was glad that he did it, and it just makes the business and that much better when you start building your guys. And keeping MJ up strong was the way they needed to do it. So I'm glad that he did it.
All right. Well, you know what? Where are we right now? Time-wise, perfect time for a timeout.
Yeah.
We'll take a little break, a little R&R. Rest up this poor voice before we get ready, or before I get ready at least, for another live episode with you crazies tonight when we have NXT TakeOver, which one is it, 36? Don't forget, folks, and you're going to see a spot for it in a minute, we're having an NXT Mega Raffle tonight, unless the power goes out because of the hurricane, which happened last year during SummerSlam, believe it or not, not due to a hurricane, but the power just went out when Marty Jannetty was here due to a wild thunderstorm. We're having a jackpot of autographed NXT posters. You could win anywhere from 6 to 12. You're guaranteed 6. An autographed poster of Adam Cole, baby, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, now Ring of Honor star EC3, Nikki Cross before she was a superhero, and former NXT champion Finn Balor. But the more raffle tickets we sell, every time we reach a certain tier, and other NXT autograph posters going to be thrown into the mix. So you could win for as little as $5, as few as 6, but as many as 12. Check it out. Wrestling fans, join Boston Wrestling Sports as we explode into our 20th anniversary. Live events, live watch-alongs, new hosts, a new Tuesday beginning September 7th, and shoot interviews 7 days per week. This Sunday night during NXT TakeOver 36, help keep in-studio shoot interviews rolling as we're having a Cyber Mega Raffle for a lot of officially autographed NXT posters. One winner will get a jackpot of Adam Cole, baby, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Nikki Cross, pre-superhero, former NXT champion Finn Balor, and now Ring of Honor superstar EC3. On eBay, that's a $250 plus value. That's just the beginning. Once we sell $250 worth of raffle tickets, we include an autographed Lio Rush NXT 8x10 photo. Once we hit $500 worth of raffle tickets, we include an NXT 2019 roster poster signed by all 15 superstars. Once we sell $1,000 of those raffle tickets, it includes the NXT 2018 roster poster signed by all 21 superstars on the poster. As we keep going, when we hit the $1,500 mark worth of raffle tickets, we include an autographed NXT Halloween Havoc 2020 autograph poster signed by every superstar on it. Then, when we hit $2,000, we include the NXT War Games 2020 1 of 100 autograph posters signed by everyone on it. Then, the big mark, the jackpot, when we hit $2,500 worth of raffle tickets and more, we're going to include the last one we have, the NXT TakeOver Phoenix 2018 autograph poster, 1 of 50, signed by every superstar on that poster. If you want more superstar shoot interviews, more live episodes, more cyber autograph signings, this is the way to help. Raffle tickets on sale now at bostonwrestling.com. Wrestling fans, all-inclusive VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for Boston Wrestling MWF's 20th anniversary, Back to the 80s WrestleFest. Saturday night, November the 13th, at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts, where you'll meet the icons up close and personal, including Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, Marty, Jannetty, and more 80s Hall of Famers to be announced SummerSlam weekend. Plus, the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow will blow the roof off of Memorial Hall with a hot night of in-ring action at this interactive wrestling event and Fanfest you'll never forget. Make your plans to be there live. Get your tickets at bostonwrestling.com now. Wrestling fans, it's time to rock. WWE legend Marty Jeanetti of The Rockers returns for 3 big nights, Wednesday, September the 1st through Friday, September the 3rd. Marty will be taping historical Wrestling Insider episodes, live specials, and cyber autograph signings. Support wrestling superstars. Pre-order autographed 8x10s now over at bostonwrestling.com. This September, get your sunglasses ready. It's time to party with Marty. All right, are you back from the website yet getting your raffle tickets, Tiger, or what?
I am back. I have all the raffle tickets I need. If I don't win, I'm going to claim this conspiracy and throw everybody out.
Well, we've noted to the fans, we have a busy few weeks coming up. We're going to be starting weekly live. We're going to be live every Sunday night no matter what, whether there's a traditional pay-per-view on, whether there is a guest in studio, or we're going to do some retro watch-alongs like we have done with SummerSlam 88 and 89 and doing some wrestling trivia with Captain Lou when he joins us in studio. At least through the middle of October, we're going to be live every Sunday night. And again, tonight it's NXT TakeOver 36. Next Sunday, we're going to be joined by former ECW World Champion Justin Credible, who is going to be part of the Wrestling Insider's Extreme Experiment we're going to be going with starting September 7th. And then, I'm going to tell you, batten down the hatches September 1st, September 2nd, September 3rd. The man that's been rocking since he came out of the womb, Marty Jeanetti, returns to this fine studio. Then, a little over a week after Marty leaves, we head to Sin City for the 55th Cauliflower Alley Club reunion. We're going to have some great interviews set up, some Wrestling Insider talk show tapings. We are going to have some live episodes for you to enjoy online, as well as cyber autograph signings, as we, in a sense, kick off the Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. It's a great way for us to reach out to some old friends, some new friends that we wouldn't necessarily see or would cost a fortune to fly in, so we are going to fly to them for what should be an eventful, fun week in Sin City. With that, I pass the baton back to you.
Well, you know what? I mean, geez, you got me excited because that lineup is great. I wasn't.
It never
I
ends.
wasn't. I mean, but that's still like that's. I mean that's really giving back to the fans because that's what it's all about in this day and age. And you know what? If you don't appreciate what Boston Wrestling is bringing to you guys each and every week, then you guys need to go jump in the lake. But anyway,
and it's unbelievable. We're now less than 12 weeks away from the big one, the 20th anniversary bash, Saturday night, November the 13th, from the historic Memorial Hall right here in Melrose, where it all began.
How are those VIP tickets doing?
Well, those VIPs, baby, they're moving. They're moving. Well over half gone at this point.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great weekend up there in Boston, and the 13th can't come quick enough.
Someday the story, I'll have to tell it on the air about how I attempted to book the first MWF live event in this very city, and when I was in the third grade in 1987, and it was sabotaged by parents. This is a true story.
Was it really?
Yes.
By parents or by a promoter?
No, by parents, because we had one computer in the entire elementary school, and we made flyers on what was called Print Shop.
Right.
And it turned into mayhem and anarchy at that point. But that's it's a kind of a fun story for somewhere down the road. But you want to talk about fun? What about WWE's biggest party of the summer last night in Las Vegas, Nevada?
I'm not going to lie. I don't know how much of the show they had planned beforehand as far as their quote-unquote surprises. But it almost seemed like their, I guess, answer to CM Punk being on AEW was to bring Brock back. I can't foresee them having that be the finish of the show. The entire time. It didn't even seem, I don't know. I don't know what the word is for it or the verbiage, but it just seemed off. I mean, Brock came out, he got a great response. I think the people were really happy to see him, but then there was nothing. It didn't make any sense. There was nothing there. There was no touching. And I just think it's too soon. I think they should have waited. I think that it's a WrestleMania match. It's not a I don't know, Extreme Rules match to see Brock and this Roman go at it. And that's what's going to happen because they're trying to counteract this whole CM Punk thing. And then on the same side, I don't know what the hell the deal is with Sasha Banks, but, she's out again. She's only been taking, 4 or 5 months off. So I guess she needs some more time off. And it
she's
seems
going
like
for the Lesnar schedule at this point. I don't know.
But it's ridiculous, man. Like, I don't know if she's hurt or maybe she came up pregnant. I don't know, but stop booking her. Just get her off the TV. Stop booking her so that way, I didn't buy the pay-per-view for Sasha Banks, but the one thing I hate is when things are advertised and then at the last second they're pulled. And I know there's certain things beyond people's control, but they could have shot an angle on Friday or last week or something to where they got her out of the picture as opposed to Sasha Banks isn't going to be here tonight. Like, come on. Well, and if it's a mental health thing again, I'm over it. I'm over it.
If I lost my train of thought again. See what you do to me, Tiger. My gosh. She had missed house shows. I thought it was in poor taste to continue to advertise her when you knew she wasn't going to be on the show. Right. Yeah. That's not fair to the fans that may have wanted to see her. I don't know. I couldn't have cared less. I like her. I think she's a heck of a nice person, despite what some of the autograph hounds think at the airport. But as far as her wrestling goes, I don't care. I know that might sound cruel, but
but it's true.
I think her offense doesn't look realistic to me. She's very slight. She doesn't look like a dangerous person. It looks like she's trying to do, her and Bailey are trying to do cosplay Eddie Guerrero and Macho Man moves.
Oh yeah,
and that's not really all that appealing to me. But I hope she's healthy. I hope she didn't come down with COVID or. I hope there's no issue. Mental health can be a thing too. But it seems like every time she loses a title, she vanishes for months.
Yeah, and I don't think they were going to take the title off of Bianca last night. And then, they brought Becky back, great. But now that it probably kills their plans or whatever they're going to do with Becky because that was not the plan. I'm telling you that right now. And I think it's stupid to put the belt right back on Becky. She doesn't need it. And I think the way that they did it too was it was a squash. Like, come on, you just built up easy for me to say. Bianca Belair for the entire summer, after beating, everybody on the roster, and then she gets squashed. What does that say about your roster? Just bad booking. That's all I can say is just bad booking. Very bad booking.
Well, I was not a fan of that match. I was not a fan of the execution. I think it was a complete and utter waste of what they've done everything over the past 4 or 5 months to try and build up Bianca Belair, who is, for better or worse, I think she's a really good athlete. She's got good personality. And, when you had her squashed in, 5 seconds by Becky, after Becky showed so much respect to the business that the company almost built itself around her to the point that business was plummeting. They were canceling house shows left and right. They castrated Seth Rollins. Instead of making him the man that beat Brock Lesnar, he became Becky Lynch's boyfriend. And then she showed so much thanks to the business. She just showed up, oh, I'm pregnant. I can't lose the title. We'll just hand it to Asuka so she can scream in Japanese by opening the Money in the Bank briefcase. And she can say now she's the mom. Oh, please.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad then. It's bad now.
I've said it before. If she wanted to have a kid, let them know ahead of time she wanted to go have a kid.
Yeah.
Go have a kid. Put someone over so you have another star ready to go. Asuka, let me tell you, would have had been a lot more over winning that title if she pinned Becky Lynch instead of opening a giant lunchbox and screaming wildly in Japanese.
Yeah. But at the same time, now where's Asuka? She's been off TV for a few months. It's all just bad.
She's one
booking,
that I enjoy to watch.
Yeah, because she makes it look real. I mean, she makes you believe
like one
it.
Of the boys.
And not for nothing.
Insult.
Why couldn't you bring somebody other than, say, Becky in to just do this match? Like, why couldn't you? Nikki Bella lives right in Phoenix.
Just not done it.
I don't know. I think they needed to do something. But
they had 3 women's matches that sucked, so they did do something.
Oh my God! And that don't get me started on that. Where I fell asleep during the Charlotte match, and I woke up as she was holding the title up. So that tells you how good that match was. I wish I fell asleep during the Alexa Bliss match because that was god awful.
At least
I haven't seen a match like that.
At least it was quick.
Okay, you're giving it too much credit. You're trying to be fair on this. This is the stern part of it. It should have. I'm sorry, but Eva Marie, she might look good, but god damn, she's not a worker. She can't do anything in that ring, and it's sad when this is your supposedly one of your biggest shows of the year, and that's what you have out there. And then now all of a sudden this Dewdrop or Piper Niven, whoever the hell she's going by now, where now she just kind of leaves Eva there. It just doesn't all make any sense. Like now they're going to feud, and what is Eva going to bring somebody in to face Dewdrop? Like
I tell you this.
Where do you go from here?
If it was me, Dewdrop would have never been endeavored, never mind future endeavored. I can't stand her. I can't stand Eva Marie. I can't stand possessed Alexa Bliss. I was hoping her superhero friend might save her from the devil or whatever it is that's possessing her right now. I mean, just complete and utter nonsense in an industry that's pretty much based around complete and utter nonsense. But it was just a very lousy match. Again, the execution of what they did with Becky Lynch was horrific for how they cast, even though she doesn't have that type of, body makeup, they castrated Bianca Belair. And the Charlotte match just felt like every Charlotte match. Rhea Ripley, I don't know what they did to that poor lady.
Oh, she's bad. She's a shell of herself.
She had something at one point, and it's like they sucked a vacuum or put a vacuum inside of her and sucked out every ounce of personality, charisma, and in-ring aggression that she ever had. And the superhero, almost a superhero, please. I mean, if it was a show meant for 4-year-olds, it might be fun, but, save it for Nickelodeon. It's nothing that the average man, if there's any 40-year-old man that's really excited to see the superhero, almost a superhero, I suggest going to the closest medical facility, since they don't use the word hospital on WWE TV, and check yourself into the psych ward.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know where they go from here. So these 3 have been feuding, in pronouns. So Charlotte, Nikki, and Rhea have been feuding for quite some time, since WrestleMania, if not before. Where do you go? So obviously I would prefer to see them move in a different direction and put Charlotte in there with somebody else. But who? Who is she going to work with?
I tell you, I think it'd be a great feud for the All WWE Women's program I've been suggesting for a long time, so I don't have to come across it.
Well, on the last hour of Raw, right?
Yeah. That'd actually be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely would be. So that way nobody would watch it. But yeah, like I said,
all of the fans of the women's movement that wanted to give divas a chance would tune in.
Okay, so you're talking who? You're talking who? Mickie James and Stephanie McMahon?
Well.
There you go. But anyway, as we move on down the card a little bit, I was surprised they had so many title changes last night. Damian Priest coming out with the title, new SmackDown Tag Champs, which, again, I don't know why you would put Randy Orton and Riddle together, and Randy Orton could be your potential top heel, biggest heel on the brand, if not in the company, and you put him in a tag match and put the titles on him. So I don't know where they're headed with that.
I still see that ending quick. I think what you're going to see is them splitting up as a tag team, and they're going to have a boring tournament leading into whenever they have Night of Champions.
I sure hope not, man. But they don't have tag teams, so like, who are you gonna have a tournament with? I still think they just need to unify the tag titles and put them on both shows.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that, and then some. But again, for whatever reason, they didn't call and ask my opinion. But I think they do it with the women's tag team titles. Why not the guys?
Yeah, but that shows you how they devalue the women as much as they devalue them. To me, at least, I don't know. But
well, whoever it was that said to Mickie James, they make no money off of the women, basically nobody cares, was an honest person, if nothing else, even if it was insulting to Mickie. And I could see that being insulting to her. Those women do try awfully hard, but what? There just isn't enough fans that want to see it and support it, which again it's not the only reason for the decline, but I will state again, it's a big part of the decline.
Yeah, because they're putting them out there way too much. And then they don't put out the ones that are actually somewhat talented in compelling storylines and matches. And then the ones that actually have something to do in the ring. So like, what's her name? Shayna Basler was a killer down in NXT, and then look at her now. She's nothing. Yeah, I mean, even Rhea, like you said, it seems like they just sucked everything out of her the minute that she came up from NXT. So what's the point at that point in time?
Nothing left with that one.
No.
It's almost to the point where it's confusing to me that someone that had some appeal, had a unique look, and had a unique style is just lifeless.
Yeah, it's just too bad. But I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes. I can deal without seeing this guy Omos on TV.
Well, maybe get him to the point where he can wrestle without a T-shirt on.
Oh, it's just so bad. It's so bad. He's a big, tall dude, but he's impressive to look at. But yeah, exactly. Bobby Lashley, I thought, looked pretty good. Goldberg looked horrendously bad. I mean, Goldberg looked really bad. And the sad part is they're going to do this again.
Where would you do it?
They have to do it again.
No, I understand that. But, I mean, would you pull the trigger and do it right away? Would you save it for Survivor Series? Would you do it in Saudi Arabia?
If I was them, I would put it on Raw and be done with it.
Oh, stop. Come on.
I would put it on Raw.
Him too much money
for that. Of course. But I mean, come on, look at the match. The guy can't work. I'm not like he really ever could work, but he can't even do the same stuff that he was doing years ago. He just looks bad. He stumbles over himself. He's going to get hurt, if not hurt somebody else. I mean, he almost killed The Undertaker that one time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, when's enough? You know what? You put the kid in the full Nelson. If it was me, Goldberg is so pissed off that happened. He wants to kill him because he even said it. I'm going to kill you. You show up on Raw. You get in the ring with the microphone right as the show comes off the air and say, I'm not leaving the ring until Bobby Lashley comes out and faces me. And then you be done with it and let Goldberg go out of WWE. Because I'm telling you, it was bad. It was that bad that they shouldn't be putting it on. It's not a marquee match anymore. Not like it ever was, in my opinion.
Well, Goldberg and Lashley?
Yeah. It's not. Let Lashley work with some of these other guys, man.
Well, I could see them wanting to go some kind of a gimmick match between the two of them where they get to go a little extreme. I don't know. I thought it was a creative angle where they made it seem like it was, they thought, in story, that they thought it was a fan that jumped into the ring to make it plausible that they could attack a 15-year-old child. But
Yeah, right.
I thought it was one of the better Goldberg angles that they've done since he's come back.
Yeah,
The match wasn't much to write home about, but I think he
Oh,
did
the
a
match
good
was
job
garbage.
selling the knee.
But please, I think it almost looked like he should have broken his leg 3 times the way he stumbled around the ring.
When they did that spot, the old Flair spot, when he threw Lashley off the top,
Oh,
I
my
was
God,
worried for Lashley for a minute.
He almost landed on his head. He didn't. He landed on his shoulder. I thought his shoulder was going to pop out, tear his labrum. It just, I'm telling you, you got to protect your top guys. Lashley's your top guy, and you're just not doing that with somebody like Goldberg out there.
I'm really looking forward to John Cena Sr.'s thoughts on the Goldberg match, because for whatever respect he has for Goldberg as a human being, he detests the performer. So I'm anxious to see his thoughts on Goldberg.
I think I might have to tune into to watch that, because
Johnny gets fired up.
He should, and everybody else should too.
And I'll tell you
demand
this,
that Goldberg not be on TV.
Not that I am going to plug in anything particularly, but he's actually going to be the guest on those two losers show, Sunglasses at Night, this week.
Oh,
they got him all
interesting.
fired up. He's almost like Terry Funk at the ECW arena.
What now? How come he's going to be on those shows?
Well, they called him the most boring man in wrestling. They insulted his piece on the top of his head. So he's, instead of, going back and forth on social media, he's going to go, I don't know if it's over Zoom or telephone, but he's going to confront them. And I respect Johnny for that. I hate them. I won't even acknowledge their name. I thought last night our co-host, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the SummerSlam watch-along, but our friend from Milford, Connecticut, not to be confused with Guilford, Connecticut, but the old Socko himself, Matt Degden, returned. He said the show was going to be renamed. And I said, well, what are they going to call it? He said, Miscarriages That Lived. So,
oh, wow. Interesting.
I guess that's how you find it now. I don't know if the miscarriages will have the sunglasses on, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm looking forward to seeing the aftermath of Johnny turning into Hurricane Henry.
I mean, I think it's going to be good, because this guy can talk and he can definitely throw some jabs. So I'm interested.
Hey, brother, we'll give him the business. I just get too angry.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Last thing we want to do is make him angry, right?
Oh, well, I tell you, I know someone that was angry after last Tuesday's Wrestling Insiders at your house, but that's a different story for a different time. It was a hot, humid, tense day up in Auburn, Maine, but
yeah, I'm sure it was. But
don't bury your stepdaughter on the internet, I guess is the moral of the story. But back to SummerSlam, what did you think about the proverbial main event?
I think so. Here's my problem with it: is 2 weeks ago they had that thing on SmackDown with Roman and Cena, where I actually truly thought they were going to do something where Cena was going to go over, and then maybe a cash in with Big E or whatever. And I had said that last week on the show. Then I watched SmackDown this week, and Roman goes out and says, "Okay, we're in Vegas. Let's up the ante. If I lose, I'll leave WWE." Yeah. So right then and there, you do something dumb like that with a part-time guy like John Cena, you already know the finish. So why am I going to watch the match? It just didn't make any sense. So I was not a fan. I didn't want to watch it going in. I thought it was okay. It was a typical match. I thought Cena, I don't know, looked a little rusty out there.
I thought it was a little slow.
Yeah, I think that's what the word is. It just definitely looked slow. So I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to do too much because they knew Brock was coming out at the end. But I don't know. It wasn't, to me, it shouldn't have been. It should have been the main event, but it wasn't the main event match, in my opinion.
What should have been the main event match, in your opinion?
I don't know. I thought the Edge Seth Rollins match was probably the match of the night. I thought that was a very good match.
And as much as I detest Seth Rollins' gimmick, ever since they, again, castrated him to prop Becky Lynch, his work is still always very, 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 very good. And that match with Edge was very, 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 very good.
Yeah,
as far
it was
as bell-to-bell work goes.
Yeah, definitely. And I loved Edge's entrance. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I really like that too.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice throwback. I thought what they did on Friday to build the match was great. Like, if they had the championship, that was definitely would have been the main event. Unfortunately, I'm always the old school in me has to have the title go on last, so that's why they went on last. But it was definitely the match of the night with those two. It was good to see Edge get a win, because if he didn't get the win, then it would have been the end of Edge. But they could still. That? He hasn't really. I mean, he won Royal Rumble, but he hasn't had really a good showing coming out of really any other matches.
Really, I think like his WrestleMania match.
No, it was
really?
the triple threat.
Yeah.
The triple threat. I thought it was okay, but then he got beat by Roman the next month. I just think that in order to keep him strong,
last month you mean,
or last month, whatever it was.
I thought that was a waste to throw that on Money in the Bank, in my opinion. But
yeah, I just think I think he needed the win. I think the storyline can still continue to the next pay-per-view, and then you can either have Edge win again or give it back and then have it blow off.
Oh, I hope they don't do that.
I hope they don't do it.
Now it's my turn to win nonsense.
But that's what WWE does. It's all 50-50.
Well, you have to remember, though, because of the NFL, they're going very early with the draft this year. So I guess they could really mix things up. The reason I thought McIntyre was...
Well, no, they always do that. Don't they always, not to cut you off, but don't they always do the draft this time of year?
It had been in the early October.
Okay.
And now I think it's a week from tomorrow.
So to counteract the beginning of the season of NFL. I
Right.
thought you meant the draft of the NFL. I'm like, that's in April.
Oh, no. I'm talking about WWE.
Oh, I got you. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, man? That's funny.
And that was the precise reason I thought McIntyre was going to win last night, was because I could see him, being transferred over to SmackDown to give Roman some fresh meat on a B pay-per-view, if nothing else coming up.
I don't know if I see
Lashley.
that.
You don't see that?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, if he can't challenge Lashley, what are you going to do with him? How long are they going to go with him and Mahal? I think in Extreme Rules. In Extreme Rules, Sunday night, September 26th, are they going to pull out the Pujami prison?
Oh, that would be nice. But it's going to be a 3-on-1 though. They'll put all four guys in there with Veer and
Spanky or whatever his name is.
Your personal favorite, Spanky. That's awesome.
No way to get a guy over 7 feet tall and they call him Spanky or Skanky or whatever his name is.
Come on now. We all know it's Shanky.
Oh, no, I didn't. Okay.
Oh, yes. Veer and Shanky.
Shanky. I apologize to Shanky that I got his name wrong.
Well, I mean...
He hasn't left a very memorable impression, I guess.
No, I mean, the only impression that he's left, or the only impression that's been left, are the welt on his back from the 85 chair shots he took from Drew McIntyre a few weeks back.
They have all of these thin giants that they've brought up. Him, Omos, that commandant that's been running around with Apollo.
The commandant.
Whatever he is.
He's the only guy that's been in WWE for a short amount of time and has had the most amount of gimmicks.
I don't understand why they're exposing all of these guys. They want to go big, has been widely known, but why put these guys out there when they're not ready and they have nothing for them to do? I mean, Omos, you could make the argument, okay, he was the tag team champion. At some point, he's likely to split with AJ in what I imagine are going to be AJ's toughest matches in his career, singles-wise, to try and get something out of him working Omos 101. But I mean, you know what? If Shanky has got something in him, I haven't seen it yet.
No,
I think he still should be at the Performance Center. And the commandant or whatever, I have no idea what his name is. But the general-looking guy that runs around,
Commander Aziz. Commander Aziz.
That was my second guess. They've had nothing for him, so why put him out there and expose him? I don't.
Yeah.
I just think that's wrong. Save them for when they're seasoned. Save them for when they're ready. Give them NXT house shows again.
This is the way I look at it. When I used to look at guys like Big John Studd and Andre the Giant, and granted I was much younger then and a little bit littler and less wise, they looked so impressive. I look at these guys and I'm just like, okay, they're tall, but they don't look like they could beat anybody up. They don't look like they're going to gobble somebody up. I just don't know why they would even put him out there.
Aziz, is that his name, Aziz? The guy with
Commander
the
Aziz. Yeah.
He's got a little thickness to him.
He does.
That
He does.
Shanky does not, and Omos, I'm gonna guess, does not, or they wouldn't have him. They wouldn't hide it under a T-shirt.
Right, and it's I don't know. I think they need to they want to save. They got. If I was there, in the shoes of talent relations, and Nick Khan came to me and said we need to cut the budget, I would look at those three guys and say see you later, because they certainly don't need them on TV.
No, I disagree with you on that. I'd send them back to NXT under NXT rated contracts, but I wouldn't get rid of them. I would have them work with pros that could make them good. I mean, you could be talking about WrestleMania 42 or WrestleMania 43. It could be Omos and Shanky.
Oh, God. All right, well, I won't be watching WrestleMania 42 or 43 if that's what the main event is going to be.
Well, I mean, the future's going to come from somewhere. The Edges and the Cenas of the world aren't going to be doing this forever. You don't want Billy Goldberg around. Maybe they could do Goldberg and Omos next year in Billy Goldberg's retirement match. You think
here's
Omos
the thing,
could get up for the jackhammer?
No, I don't think Omos could get up for a cheeseburger.
He can't even get out of bed.
Without AJ helping him. I don't know. I just when I look at this guy Shanky, the first person that pops in my head is Great Khali. And
But
Great
at least
Khali was another guy.
had size and was thick and scary looking.
Yeah, but like he couldn't even move. Like this guy
Well,
can't even
all right,
walk
fair
around
enough.
the ring. You know what I mean? So it's like,
He had the flexibility of an LJN.
yes, you're 100% right on that. That's awesome. That's
He
awesome.
was like the John Studd LJN figure, the Great Khali.
yeah.
Omos, he looks like he not too far off from what Shaq looked like when he did that match in
you're right.
AEW back in March or whenever that was.
And we've forgotten about that as quick as we forget about Omos.
Well, I don't know. Overall, what would you have given SummerSlam on a scale of 1 to 10?
Scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 7, 7.5.
It's you in the halves. There's no halves. They
Okay,
don't
well,
exist.
we're gonna
When you have 10 options, you don't need the half.
Yeah, but you have a half a star option, no? Doesn't Meltzer use those half stars?
I'm
quarter
not
stars?
him. I'm not him.
All right.
He
Yeah,
also
you're right.
I don't think he uses a 10-star scale.
No, he uses the 5. He uses the 5-star. Nah, I'm going to give it a 7. 7 out of 10.
And funny enough, I went with the same thing. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Even with the things I didn't like, I thought the atmosphere and the presentation was out of this world. I thought it was a great ambiance. I thought the Edge match was superb.
Yeah.
For the fans that like surprises, they
I thought
sure
the
got
Brock
some
was good, yeah.
surprises. I think
Yeah.
it was overdone, but you know what? You
Yeah.
got surprises. I would
I
rather
think-
have seen Lesnar save for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I do too.
But ... They want to counteract. They don't want all the buzz being taken away from them on their second or third biggest weekend of the year, depending upon how you look at SummerSlam. Edge and Rollins really delivered. I thought the 2 tag team title matches were pretty good.
Yep.
I guess maybe I eliminated the 3 women's matches from my brain because I did not enjoy any of them. But I thought the Goldberg angle was good. I thought Goldberg was very believable in his selling of the leg. I think they teased enough of Cena having a chance to win the title. The problem is, like you said, number one was that nonsense Roman announcement. It was almost like right before when they did Batista and Triple H at WrestleMania 35, when a week or two before the show, Triple H, if you don't win, you retire from WWE. You knew that wasn't going to happen. So why set the expectation? Fans aren't as dumb as they think. And B, I think the mistake they made was that, you know what? They would have had more interest in that match if they had pushed that Cena was going for the big number 17. And they mentioned it a couple of times here and there. But, I mean, I'm talking about montage video packages with Cena chasing number 17. That's going to be a big money angle and a big money storyline for them. I would do that next year at WrestleMania. That would be my Raw main event. I would have Cena be, if he can do it, with all of his movies and TV shows, I would have Cena be a surprise Royal Rumble entrant and then make a big chase for several months that he's going for that number 17th World Championship.
And who would he face?
I would have him work Lashley.
And have Lashley keep the belt the whole time?
Depending, I
mean,
would
yeah,
go by
I
John's
don't
schedule.
disagree.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
have John win it, for 3 or 4 weeks. If he had a couple of months to commit, I would have seen it win it that way. If he doesn't have that time to commit, I'd have him lose.
Yeah.
As far as trying to sell WrestleMania, I liked Lesnar and Roman an awful lot with the mystery of who is Paul Heyman going to side with. They had him walk off with Roman last night, which
and that's what I think they did wrong. Yeah, that's what I think they did wrong. They should have had Paul Heyman at least kind of. I know that he was screaming at Brock to not do anything, right? But at the same time, like they should have had Roman leave and then Brock and then Heyman kind of leave, but then turn back and kind of be like in the middle and be the middleman and not know which way to go, and then maybe eventually leave. Right now, it just looks like he is completely on Roman's side, and I just think that I don't know. I can't. Brock needs a mouthpiece, so he needs to have Heyman there. Who knows? I don't know where they're going with
John Cena Sr.
I mean, sure, why not?
Why not at this point?
Why not? Yeah.
But I was told by powers that be that their plan for Mania, the next 2 years for Roman, involved Rock and Brock. So, with this upcoming, the reason why which one was it? Jimmy Uso that got arrested for the DUI wasn't beheaded was because they wanted to do a tag match, so The Rock didn't have to risk tearing too many body parts with his 100% natural body that he has at the age of, what is he? His early
51.
50s, yeah. Very natural at the age of 50 to look that way.
Yeah, I mean,
if you go to the gym every day,
and you drink your
vitamins,
rock tequila, and you drink your rock tequila and your rock energy drinks, of course.
So I don't know. It's certainly not Rock and Roman, but Rock and Jimmy Rock and Jimmy against Roman and Jay was one that was on the table, which is why there wasn't a severe backlash to him for his 45th DUI arrest. But anyway, I don't know. I can't see them holding off on Roman and Brock until WrestleMania at this point, at the pace they go through things.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like it wasn't meant to be as far as Brock Lesnar coming back last night. I just think it was a last minute, hey, let's get him in here. And I'm telling you right now, they're paying him a boatload of money. So all these budget cuts, it looks like they cut all these guys just to pay Brock whatever he's getting paid. And it's got to be, minimum $3 million a year would be my guess.
For Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
Oh, closer to 10.
You think it's even that much
Absolutely.
more? Yeah.
Absolutely. So he's making more than Cena on a downside guarantee. I know that.
Well, yeah, he was, but I thought, he definitely was. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, no,
but,
closer to 8 figures.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever quite hit 8, but it was up there.
Yeah.
And then I continue to think WrestleMania, there's Roman, there's Lashley for those 2 championships tied in. Would you try and seduce The Undertaker to have an announced retirement match?
Nope.
Really?
No, it's done.
I think there's so much money in that as opposed to having his last match be part of some movie.
Who's it going to be?
You might have to go the route of what All Japan would do with Giant Baba when he reached a certain age, and they'd put him in tag teams or 6-mans or something like that. But the man deserves a send-off in front of a crowd, not television screens and cinematic wrestling matches.
And
I think that helps you sell a lot of 102,000 tickets. I'll tell you this, and I know this to be a fact direct from someone in Titan Towers. I'm certainly not going to name any names. But when they announced Undertaker and Shane McMahon at Hell in the Cell for WrestleMania 32 in that same stadium, AT&T Stadium in Dallas, those tickets really started to move at that point. So I would consider that.
But you got to figure. So you're saying this year's WrestleMania, so I guess technically it'd be WrestleMania 2022 coming up?
Yes. He's not getting any younger.
No, of course not. I just don't see.
To talk about almost a joke. Yeah. No, I was going to say Undertaker and
Shanky.
Person X that AJ's feuding with against AJ and Omos in a tag match. So Undertaker, what he does could be very limited. AJ could take some big bumps for him. They could play off of that movie match that they had. You might get one interesting photographic stare down between Undertaker and Omos. You know who might be good? Someone I know they're trying to push. Maybe someone like a Judas Priest. Maybe him and AJ could be feuding for the U.S. title. And
Judas Priest.
Or what's his name? Damian Priest.
I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that a
I get
rock
that
band?
confused all the time. Damian Priest. Him and AJ could be feuding over the title at Elimination Chamber or whatever they do in February. Omos kicks the hell out of him. AJ steals the U.S. title. He brags, whatever your name is, Priest, Damian Priest, you think you're anything for me? I'm the man that sent the Undertaker out to pasture. And then go. And you don't even bring him out. You just tease the go.
Yeah.
And you play it up over several weeks. And then you announce that, Undertaker and just per se Damian Priest against Undertaker and Omos in the Undertaker's retirement match in his home state of Texas in front of 102,000 people. I think that would be majestic.
Yeah, but the only problem is that I don't like the Undertaker in a tag. It just doesn't. It just loses its luster at that point. If you want to give him a send off, then put him in a singles and make it simple.
Who's someone that would bounce around good, and I think he'd get a good match out of would be Rollins. As much as I don't like the gimmick, I think Rollins would make him look really good.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one. I think it would be a waste of a match though for Rollins.
To work the Undertaker in his retirement match? You think that would be a waste for anyone on the roster?
Here's the thing, though. It's tough because I don't like guys going out not on their back. So, and maybe it's just the old school in me.
I think he might be the exception to the rule.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just think that if you're going to go out, you need to go out on your back. That's just my opinion. It's probably not a popular one, but
he did his jobs, And and I tell you that, and obviously most people that have seen WWE documentaries and network things and so on, and that night with Roman in Orlando, he thought it was it, but that lore, it keeps dragging you back in, dragging back in, just like you getting Greg Valentine to get warmed up for 15 minutes. So
hey, listen,
it never leaves you. It
doesn't, and I'll be honest with you, I always have the itch in me to get back in the ring and. There's always a phone call that you got to take, and who knows? Maybe he does it. I don't know. I just again, I look at the roster right now, and even the depth of it, I just don't know who it could be. And maybe it's you revisit AJ because I think AJ could put on a good match with him in a singles. Even now,
I think in the ring, it would expose the size difference quite a bit. When they did it on a movie set, it was a little easier to disguise it.
Yeah.
One man's opinion. Not the biggest issue in the world.
Well,
I just think they need someone that's going to make him look very good.
But you never really saw, or you took that into consideration when he was working a guy like Shawn.
Well, Shawn Michaels is a lot bigger than AJ Styles.
But height-wise?
Yeah.
By how much? Shawn Michaels is what, 6 foot?
Yeah, he's got to be about 6 feet. I'd say he's got to have at least 3 inches on
No, AJ's not 5'9".
I don't even know if he's 5'9".
Oh, come on. Stop it. Now you're
when
just,
we
you're
booked
just being a hater.
I'm not trying to insult the guy. I'm just talking about when we used him. He was really, really small.
No, he is a short guy. I just think that he's one of those guys that carries himself bigger. He's like a Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just carries it. He's larger than, I wouldn't say larger than life, but he carries himself in a way where you don't look at it. At least I don't. I don't know.
It's certainly not something you do if you go the route of my idea, which I think is a sin if they don't, which is give The Undertaker a retirement match. But, what about Billy Goldberg? Would you give him a retirement match at WrestleMania?
No, I
would. They got to
have
fulfill the contract.
I would have.
Would this
I'm telling you,
be the end of Billy?
Pay him whatever it is that you pay him, and just don't let him back on TV. That's what I would do. Just cut your losses because it's not worth it.
You just want to give it to him and not see him.
Yeah, I don't want to see anything to do with him.
They're not going to let that happen.
No, of course not, because they might sell a couple T-shirts. But
my question is,
to me, there's no return on investment with that one.
Will they renew Billy Goldberg when his contract is up, with fear that he might go to AEW?
Oh God, I mean, let him fucking go. You know, here's the thing, though. I don't think Tony Khan would sign him. I don't think he would sign him.
Tony Khan will sign just about anybody.
I mean, I guess.
From indie guys to WWE guys. I mean, you know what? Granted, I'll be fair because, you never know who might hear this and take this the wrong way. But I think his signings of people that have left WWE have been good for the most part. I think Mark Henry's terrible on commentary. I think they're getting good execution out of Big Show by waiting so long for him to have his first pay-per-view match at the one coming up in September. They didn't rush that. They let that play itself out. I think Christian, while they've aligned him with some goofy characters at times, he's looked very, very, very good in the ring. Punk obviously is a great signing. Bryan and Wyatt, if they do indeed come in, are going to be great signings. Andrade is someone I think should be main eventing in WWE. Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah.
Alistair Black, or what's his name there? Malachi. Black. I think they've got more value out of him in 3 weeks than WWE did the entire time he was there. If Ric Flair comes in as discussed, I mean, you're talking about what a great ambassador to have back on Turner Television. So, I don't think they've made many mistakes with who they've signed in recent times. I think some of the mistakes they've made were the people that they put on TV originally that just weren't Major League Television ready.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that Dark 100%. Order faction. I for the life of me, I can't understand why you want to put that on TV. Okay, you know what? They were associated with Brody Lee, who you have an affinity for, and you're always going to treat with a great amount of respect. I understand that because look at how we are with Paul Bearer. But at the same time, it's just a group of guys that really aren't that good, and/or the gimmick camouflages what talent they have. They're like, every time I see them with Adam Page, I think Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
I thought it was watered down when Brody Lee was there.
Adam Page.
Yeah, I thought it was watered down when Brody Lee was there. There was just too many guys at that point in time. The one guy that talks a lot with the mask on looks like a goof. I just think they need to get rid of it. And hey, you know what? Maybe that's how they get rid of the Dark Order, where they, like you said, they bring in their Super Wyatt family or whatever they do with those 3 guys and have them just crush all those other guys, and then you only have their one so-called Dark Order. I don't know.
What I would do is, if it was me booking it, when they have the landmine match next year, I'd have all of them handcuffed to the ropes, and then they all get blown up.
And on that note...
And then they're gone, and we never have to worry about them again.
That's not bad. I like it.
Did we miss any... Oh, did we talk about Dominic DeNucci last week?
We did, yes.
Oh, that's right, yes, because we went through his history of... Because I wasn't 100% sure if it was Australia or New Zealand. It's John Cena Sr. and I that need to discuss Dominic this week. But anything else interesting in the world of wrestling?
I'm sure there is. Like you said, it was a big week. We always miss something, but we'll follow up again next week. We're looking forward to NXT tonight, so let's get to it.
NXT will be over by the time this airs, so we certainly hope that the fans enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I do. I hope they enjoyed it. I just said we're looking forward to it, but at the same time, I'm kind of not. There's only one guy, or really one match that I really am intrigued to watch, and it's going to be that Walter versus Ilya Dragunov, because those guys will beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. No interest in the main event, huh?
No.
No? Fair enough. Your opinion.
No. Not really.
Right. Well, I hope the fans enjoy the show. I hope the fans loaded up on raffle tickets. I hope we don't run into the problem that we had for SummerSlam 2020 when the power went out at the studio in the middle of the show, and Marty Jannetty had to light each other up with flashlights just so we could make a social media video to explain to the fans what had gone on, which was another kind of funny memory. But again, fans, don't forget, Marty Jeanetti will be back with us September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But before Marty's back in the studio, again, Tuesday nights are going to become a very interesting thing here in the world of Boston wrestling. We're going to try a new series to replace Tony Atlas's Wrestling Insiders at Your House. It's going to be Wrestling Insiders Extreme. The series will kick off with New Jack, who unfortunately passed away 6 days after filming the first episodes with us. Then a week from tonight, Former ECW World Heavyweight Champion Justin Credible will be live in studio taping Wrestling Insider Extreme episodes. We're also going to have a live episode and a cyber autograph signing. So, ECW is something that the fans of that era continue to love to this day. I think there's potential for this series, Tiger. I'm interested to see where it takes us.
Hey, you know what? ECW's got that cult following, and they're always going to have it there. They always want to hear and see from those ECW legends, so to speak. And, hey, why not start it off with somebody like Justin Credible?
Well, he'll be second. We're going to start
second.
With
I'm sorry. Yeah, New Jack. I mean, I could do without New Jack, but I've always been a fan of Justin Credible. I have great respect for him. I hope he's doing better than what he has been in the past few years, sure. And that things are looking better for him.
Well, again, it's an experiment. If the fans love it, we'll roll with it. If they don't, they don't. And then again,
maybe they want to. Maybe not to cut you off, but maybe they want to see some old PJ Walker matches or Aldo Montoya matches.
Well, if I could get my access Tony Rumble's library, there's a few Suicide Samson matches.
Oh wow!
So anything can happen with that, I guess. But I look forward to testing the waters with Justin. And then, as we noted, less than a month from now, we're going to be in Vegas for the Cauliflower Alley Club. We're going to have some interesting guests that I'm working on that have never been on the show before. And it all continues to get closer and closer, month by month, week by week, day by day. Boston Wrestling's 20th anniversary, back to the 80s WrestleFest, Saturday night, November the 13th from Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts. Already lined up America's hero, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jake the Snake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, Marty Jannetty. We promised you a sixth featured superstar announcement, who is another WWE Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, it has been, by the time this episode airs, the announcement may have already been made, but they were indirectly involved in a COVID situation, not the person itself, so they don't need to be internet headlines about that, but just internet. COVID indirectly impacted their life and distracted them from confirming 100%. We don't want to announce anyone until it's 100%. So that announcement is coming. Until we make the official announcement, we still have that ticket discount available over on the BostonWrestling.com super site. Again, the Patreon is open for business, baby. Early ad-free access to Wrestling Insiders. The Studio Shoot Interview DVD library seen by millions online. Millions more on The Howard Stern Show. You get Patreon-exclusive videos. Plus, the knowledge that you are helping keep wrestling legends working over at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling with the link found in the comments section below. And if you're looking to add to your wrestling collection, build a wrestling collection, the Boston Wrestling eBay store is a great place to go. It is open 24/7 worldwide. We have merchandise from superstars of every era. Not only does your purchase help keep wrestling legends working and these talk shows on the air, but you get an on-air shout-out from one of our featured superstar hosts that is not Tony Atlas. So a lot going on. Tiger, any final thoughts?
No, just as always, follow me on Twitter at Tiger Mulligan. You can follow the new podcast that I have out with my son Owen, is Banter with the Boys. You can find that on Spotify with this podcast, Stern But Fair. And you can follow Owen on Twitter at boys_banter, and boys, as always, is spelled with a Z. So, check us out. We have the first interview up with Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Well, you went all out for episode 1.
We did go all out, and we're going to continue going all out, just like we do with Stern But Fair. Banter with the Boys is out, and for everybody to enjoy.
I think you made one tiny mistake, though.
What's that?
You should have called it Banter with the Bros.
You're right.
Well, maybe in our next life. All right, wrestling fans, we're running out of time here on Wrestling Insider Stern But Fair. Leave your thoughts in the Premier Chat or the comment section below. We love to know what you think of our banter and our thoughts of the world of professional wrestling, and we love to know your thoughts on the world of pro wrestling. For Tiger Mulligan, I'm Dan Marty. Good night from Boston.
Bro.
Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.